joined in studio by our money expert Brendan Burgess for our weekly Money Stories slot. Every week through the summer we're discussing people's stories of their money, their debts, their loans and what their options are. So Brendan, what have you got for us this week?
Well, this week we're going to look at the interaction between business debt and personal debt, and we're going to ask what happens when a husband is effectively insolvent but the wife has a good job and is solvent herself, and then we're going to look at, is bankruptcy an option?
Right, and tell us the background to this particular story first.
Okay, this couple is, their names are Matthew and Eilish, and they have 3 young children. He is a builder and he has a limited company, and the limited company is effectively bust at this stage. It hasn't made money for some time and it has liabilities, and she's got a good job. She's earning around €40,000 a year, and she is solvent in her own right while he's insolvent. And the question is, would bankruptcy be a good option for him?
Okay, so let's hear what happened.
The other important thing is that he went into the bank and he had an overdraft in the company, and the bank asked him to guarantee the overdraft personally, and this is only in December last, when there was no need for him to do that.
Because if his company went bankrupt, it wouldn't necessarily have personal implications for him, but it does now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear what happened when he went to the bank.
I knew that if I didn't sign it, they would take the 20 grand overdraft, the job would not be finished, the clients would be left out, they wanted to be in by Christmas in their lovely new extension, and I knew my wife would put my head on the chopping board. So I decided anyway that the right thing to do was put myself on the line, and I signed it along with my business partner, and we carried on with the term loan, knowing that we're going into 2010 with basically nothing but an overdraft converted to a term loan. So my wife wasn't impressed with that when we got home, so it's led to a lot of arguments, a lot of duress, a lot of hassle, a lot of stress. And we finished the job. We just about brought it over the line on target. We didn't have work in January. We were still paying our insurances, still paying our overheads at about 3 grand a month on average. And over the next number of months, it just compounded the problem. The 20,000 loan from the year previous did not get reduced. The bank changed our overdraft to a 20,000 term loan, which added to our overheads monthly, which then added up and added up and added up. And now we're in a scenario where we owe tax liability because I couldn't pay the tax man. We owe the bank because I couldn't pay them. They don't care as long as they have their monthly repayments, even though I've been telling them for the last year that there's a train coming down the lines and there's going to be a crash. I am left in this scenario. I owe you 20,000. I will only be getting in 5,000 in retention money due in the next number of weeks. I owe that between yourselves, the bank, and the taxman. And what do I do? And they had no answer, didn't want to know. He said everything's fine as long as the account is in check. So basically he's doing his job. We're basically insolvent. We cannot carry on forward. Our insurance is up and we cannot renew it. There is no future right now for us.
Now, Brendan, the whole point of limited companies is to insulate the owner from the debts of the business, but that in some sense seems to be a thing of the past.
Well, I mean, he was in a situation where he had a limited liability company. The company had an overdraft of 20,000. The company owed that money, and that's a very important distinction. You know, that it's his business, but the company owes the money, and if the company goes to the wall, well, then he does not owe that money personally. But the bank were very concerned about this situation, so they called him in December, and they insisted that he personally guarantee it. His wife had told him beforehand, Eilish had said, going to the meeting, do not sign that guarantee. And he gave her a commitment he wouldn't sign the guarantee, but in the end he did. The reason he did was they said they were going to withdraw the overdraft. If they withdrew the overdraft, he wouldn't have been able to pay his suppliers. He wouldn't have been able to pay the subcontractors who were, the plumbers and the other people working on that job. And he felt the right thing to do because his priority was get the job done and keep the customer happy, despite the fact that he was incurring personally a very large liability, which he and his wife certainly can't afford.
He's a good builder by all accounts. Is he a good businessman?
No, I think he's a very good builder. He's very customer oriented, but he's not hard enough to be a businessman. When faced with a decision like that, and we discussed other business issues about arguments over snag lists and stuff like that, and he seemed to give in on every occasion. He's a good builder. He's a very good guy. I wouldn't mind him doing building work for me, but at the end of the day, he has a business to run, and it doesn't look to me as if it's made much of a profit.
It's obviously stressful for him, but also for his wife and his family. She's working full-time with 3 young children. So let's hear from Eilish now.